Good morning. How are y'all doing? Uh, Something that I was thinking about. Uh, South Carolina is known for mopeds, and all across the United States got their laws and regulations with mopeds. Um, Something that I was really, a friend was talking about. We both ride mopeds, and he was like, "What do you do if they call in for bad weather or they're calling for rain? And what does your route take?" Well, let's see. The best way to plan for this stuff is pay attention to your weather the day before. Uh, See, I got to leave the house at 3:40, 3:45 in the morning on the weekdays. My route considers going through back roads, mostly in the mornings. Afternoons, I take the main big roads like 76 turns into 28, 123 straight back to the house. For in the mornings, it's kind of the opposite. I take the back roads. Why do I take the back roads during when it's like this right here? It's more relaxing. You see a lot more. You see a lot more. I'm not saying you see a lot more on the main roads like 123, but I take the back roads to get to 28 to 76, and then I get on them. That's a 4 lane road, and the minimum speed limit is like 45. Uh, the best thing I can say is pay attention to the weather. Always double check your route. If you go down that same route, the same road every day, especially every morning on a moped, be careful on be know your surroundings. At night, in the early mornings, you know what your surroundings look like. And I've rode this road a lot I've rode this road a lot during the daytime, and I get where my points are to where I can notify my wife, friends, and family. I can give them a specific detail. I'm at so and so on the right hand corner, right here. This is where I'm at. Uh, 123, all I got to do, or 76. Hey, I'm in Pendleton at the QT for maybe 10, 15 minutes, or maybe for an hour. Depends on what Mother Nature throws at us people. And for anyone, I mean, well, y'all all know Paul Heyman. He does his own YouTube channel. So me and Paul ride a lot, and he brought up this. This was a good topic to actually discuss about right here. Is to get familiar with the road. Get familiar with the back roads, because usually you don't want to be caught with real bad lightning. This happened to me last year. I was I was working early mornings. I had to be there at 5 o'clock every morning. Not like I do now, but I go to Anderson every morning, Monday through Friday. So my route is considered the same route every morning. Don't change unless it does change. Unless it comes down that I don't feel safe, something doesn't feel right. Like there's a potential of real bad winds. And I mean, you try to avoid the back roads with all means with lightning, especially. I mean, I'm not gonna say not to avoid them, but if you feel safe riding on the back roads on a moped, go right ahead. But you got to make sure you're able to seek shelter, especially if you get a notification of a possible tornado in the area, and and you got to seek shelter, especially if you're on a back road, you got no shelter. You basically got a ditch, and that's all it's going to do. It's going to save you, but you're going to make sure that you got a good raincoat, a good raincoat that does not leak through to get your t-shirt wet, because then you'll have the potential that you could catch hypothermia if it's cold enough. During the summer months, you don't really have to worry about that, but it's always best to have a hoodie on up underneath your coat, to where you can, when you get to work, you can actually shed that layer off. But best advice, if you know there's potential bad weather coming in the area in the early mornings, going into daybreak, take the main roads, because you got more chance on seeking shelter on the main roads, to where you can actually seek shelter in case you do get a notification that there's a potential hazard coming your way, and you can easily get into that shelter easily. Because I know there's from where I live at all the way to Anderson, I got 6 gas stations that's open 24 hours. And if I feel that I need to pull over to the gas station to seek shelter, I'm going to be able to seek shelter, because that's what gas stations are for, is to seek shelter, and to where it could possibly save your life. And now, I did get caught up in a rainstorm. It was sprinkling, and I get down. I'm on the back roads. It's lightning like crazy, and I was like, something does not feel right. And luckily I wasn't too far from Highway 76, and what I done, I was like, okay, I know how far I can get to, and then pull over before this rain actually starts bearing down on me, because it was like this right here. It was like sprinkling a little bit, enough to not get you wet. It was more of it wasn't even hitting the ground. It was more just one of them type of rains that it was going to come, because you could smell the humidity out here. And it was just probably one thing. I get in Sandy Springs, past Michelin. The lightning's intensifying, because we had a storm coming out of the west from Livonia off of 85, coming from that part. We had a big thunderstorm coming out from the west, out from Livonia, and it was probably getting closer. And I know I called the wife and was like, all right, I'm pulling over. I'm here at the Sandy Springs, right across from the post office. I had to literally seek shelter, because there was no gas stations in that little general area right there. The closest gas station was back in Pendleton, and I wasn't going to sit there for an hour to let this rain do its thing. So I knew it was coming. It was just a matter of how far could I get before it started really pouring down. And that's what I did, was I made sure I seek shelter. And all I have to say is just know your route a lot. Just know your route. Plan you're going to work. You basically take the same route every day. Every day from work back to the house, you take the same route. I do 2 different routes every day. Back roads in the morning, main roads in the afternoon. Because it's a whole lot easier to get up back on the main roads, because when I get into when I get into Clemson, I got 2 different routes going into Clemson. I can hit 123, or I can get off one exit, go cut through the college. Look, since school's fixing to be out for the college, I can literally now go through the campus now, because of I usually don't go through the campus because of all that traffic because of the college students. So best thing to do is know your routes. Know when to pull over. Especially keep your moped intact. Make sure it's all maintenance. Like for me, on the weekends, I make sure I got everything that I need for make sure that moped is running smooth for the following week. I try not to ride it much on the weekends unless I have to. Usually, time I don't ride it during Sundays. They'll give it some time to let me get the maintenance done in case I got to change the oil or do little stuff to it. So it's best to play smart. Well, it's best to be smart, play smart, and think wise. Especially, say, let's see. Well, say if we got some cumulus clouds, say we got some thunderheads coming up about right here, above my head, right here where these tree lines are at. Say we got a storm coming out of the west, and you are, say, I'm going to say Walhalla. I'm going to just say Walhalla. Say you are coming out of Walhalla on 28 or Highway 11, 123, Westminster, wherever you want to say. I'll do Psychonic because that's where what I do. But say you're coming down 123 out of Westminster. You know there's a storm approaching because you say you check the radar. So you check your little weather app. Alright. That, if you check your weather app at Burger King in Westminster and you got to get into Seneca, I can actually vouch for this one right here. It takes roughly 20 minutes to get to Westminster into just right here in Seneca. Right here in Seneca. To where the Walmart's at. Or the Little Caesars. It's all about how fast your moped goes. Mine goes right at 50. That's where it tops out at. And you know, like I said, you look at the weather app. Okay, you stay on 123 from Westminster to Seneca. You got one bridge. Then that's where Highway 11 crosses. That's the only safe spot you got right there. I'm just using that as a reference that I had to use, especially coming down from Westminster. This has not happened to me yet. Get caught. You see it coming in you see it in your mirrors. I mean, your mirrors are about the size of this phone right here. But you know it's coming. You know you got to get back to Seneca. To either you're having to go to work or you live in Seneca, and you got to make sure you can get into Seneca before it rains. So that's why we got little compartments in that little, there's my seat, that little compartment right here. Yeah, it's not big, but it keeps, I can literally put a full raincoat in and it will survive. Know what you got with you. Always try to keep a flashlight on you in case you do have to pull over and you're at a underpass. Cops are going to the police will ask you questions. Why you do what you're doing, or if they see you pull over up underneath a building that the place is not even up, they're going to come and ask you questions. Knock on wood, that hadn't happened to me yet. Going to work in the Anderson yet. Luckily that has not happened yet. I know it will, eventually it will, because the state troopers love riding that 76 and 28 and 123 a lot. be diligent. Be respectful. No, shoot. What I'm trying to say is just understand that Mother Nature doesn't play with us mopeds. We are a light vehicle. One gust of wind can push you to this way and that way. We are light. We're very light. Well, it's just like a bicycle. It's open. It's more wind. It's more wind. It's a good gust of wind blows you. It can literally push you left and right easily. But other than that, I mean, be smart. Pay attention to the clouds. Always make sure you got a full charge on your phone. Always make sure you got a battery pack with you to charge up your phone. If you're a moped, there's got a USB port that's on your moped. I would say charge your phone right quick, then get your button to take cover immediately, because you're gonna have to have your phone just to keep you entertained until a little little thunderstorm pops up and it grounds you for 30 minutes or an hour. Gives you something to do. Because all you're going to do is just be sitting there. You can't really do nothing. Or sitting inside at a table. You're constantly going to be checking the weather, making sure, okay, when is this stuff going to end? Because I've got to get to work or I got to get home. Depends on what. Yeah, it just depends. During the daytime, it's not, especially on the weekends, I don't have to worry about getting out as much. I always got my wife's car, so that's a good thing. Weekdays, I'm focused on riding my moped. Other than that, if y'all got any questions, comments, more about the stuff that to be aware of for a moped, especially if you ride a moped. I mean, I'm going to try to do a little bit more. I'm going to try to do this every week, right? Try to. Usually it's kind of a little hectic on me right now because of having a little kid and everything. So it's kind of a little hectic trying to keep everything going. But yeah, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. If you got any questions, free feel to ask, and I will be gladly to answer them in the next YouTube video. I've actually thought about doing a YouTube video. This is where I'd be in front of my computer because of what this topic is going to be about next week. It's everybody's probably heard about. I don't know if you live in Georgia in the upstate, you probably knew what happened 2 years ago, April the 13th of 2020. So if y'all want to know more about that, I'll sit in front of the computer, talk about this right here, because this is a topic that I seen Friday afternoon when I got off from work, that a town in Michigan got hit by an EF3. I know how it feels to get hit by an EF3, especially being in a small town of Michigan. I'm not from Michigan, so I'll have to pull that up, and we'll look at this together and figure out how did it come across that day. It came across how did Michigan get this EF3? Was that weather unstable? Was atmosphere unstable that day? Or was it just like, let's see. Or was it like this early in the morning? That's the question. I can tell you 2 years ago about what happened in Seneca. 2 years ago, April the 13th. I can tell you exactly what happened. I can either tell you this in another video. I can do this in an hour right here. I can do this for another. I can explain this to y'all in 45 minutes as soon as I get this YouTube video posted up. But I would literally have to be in front of the computer doing this one right here, because this is it's great. I mean, everybody wants to know why or how this came about that early Monday morning. I'll tell you one thing. It changed this entire county right here, and this entire town right here. I mean, Seneca is not big, but we do got a lot of places that we can eat and socialize and stuff like that. But because I can literally take you to where I can get you to where it really touched down at, but it's hard to find with all that stuff being overrode. But I have seen where this funnel did touch down. There's no pictures of it. Unfortunately, there's no pictures of this. There's a lot of pictures of the indication, but the thing is, the question was, and these meteorologists were scratching their heads on this right here. With Georgia and South Carolina being so close, you had one body of water right here, Lake Hartwell. Georgia being on this side, South Carolina being on this side. Lake Hartwell's temperature was above normal for that Easter Sunday, and that's just something that I know of, because I lived in Georgia and I know Lake Hartwell. It was above, the water temperature was above normal for that day. It was awful warm for Easter Sunday for that day, for April the 12th, 2020. All the forecasters was not expecting what was going to happen that Monday morning. That was the key right there. That was the main. Nobody anticipated what was going to happen that morning. So if y'all want to hear more about that story, give me maybe 45 to maybe give me 2 hours, and I will definitely do a video of this, and I'll show you what I've literally had to look. I've had to do that, look this up myself, because it was so interesting on how a storm that wasn't even capable of producing a supercell produced it. That was the big thing right there. How in the heck did a thunderstorm that was back in Georgia, in Gainesville, had indication of anything of it producing anything until it got to Easton Alley, where it dropped down a EF0 tornado. It was confirmed that there was 2 tornadoes that was from that same storm. One was an EF1, one was an EF0 that touched down in Easton Alley and somewhere in Toccoa, somewhere near on Highway 17, somewhere back towards that way. And then this is the good part right here. That same storm comes into South Carolina, knowing that we had no intention of what was going to happen. But yeah, if y'all want to hear more about that, let me know. I'll definitely do one in the comments. I'll definitely do that. Peace. Thank y'all for all of our armed forces, our military. No, hold on. We salute y'all. We'll see y'all later. And y'all have a blessed day, and I will see y'all back in probably in the next 45 to an hour, and we'll discuss that. We'll continue from where we left off at. Peace.